right, here we go, guys. Week 3 of this broadcast, Big River Talks, Laredo, Texas. For those of you that are going to start joining us, we appreciate it. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, guys. With me, as always, I've got Fred, the Southman Medina, here next to me. Today we have a guest host. We're going to refer to him as Bojo. Actually, Bojo Fett. We're going to go with Bojo Fett. So he's going to be, Spinning Chris couldn't join us today, so we're going to go ahead and move on and continue the program. He'll be here a couple of weeks, hopefully. But for right now, we got Bojo here that's going to fit in, and he's more than qualified. You'll see. But so welcome again, guys. It's been week 3. Let me tell you, the first week we were doing this, we had under 400 views. As of today, we're almost 1.5. That's 1,500 views, and we really appreciate that. We're hoping that after today, we can go over 2,000, maybe 2,500. I don't know, 3,000 guys. Let's push it. Let's get this thing going. So let me tell you real quick before I let the guys talk and before we get to our first guest. The purpose of this broadcast is not to talk about pointing fingers or finding fault or telling us what the problems are. We already know what the problems are. Laredo, just like any community in the United States, is full of problems. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear what are the solutions. What are your ideas? What are the plans to change the culture? And what I'm talking about is the culture not only in Laredo, but in the Hispanic culture, in the American culture. How do we change that? You know, we love to, human beings love to complain. We love to complain. We love to point out the obvious. We don't want to know about that. We want to know about what you're doing to make this world better from your foxhole. Now that I said that, let me tell you something. The man to my left and the man to my right and myself are combat veterans. This is the first time that I know that we have 3 combat vets in one podcast that I know. If I'm wrong, correct me. But it's kind of like a warning, you know, because our sense of humor is very different. And if you're former military or in the military, you're gonna find out. You're gonna be able to really relate to how we think and what we say. But anyway, so I'm really proud to stand in between these 2 guys. Between us, you're looking at probably 70, 80 years of experience in the military. So we're here to offer our view and hopefully provide you with a different way of thinking, changing your mentality and making you into a better citizen, and making you into a better member of this community. So before I get into the latest news, I'm going to let Fred the Southman Medina talk to you guys. Go ahead, Freddie.
Well, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of Laredo Live Podcast, or Three Rivers, or what?
Big River Talks.
Big River.
Come on, Freddie.
I'm sorry. I
What are you
thought
drinking?
it was no fishing. I was thinking
What are you
fishing.
drinking?
So, and of course, we're open for any of your comments. The chat room is open, of course. Excuse me. And of course, you can give us a call if you want to ask questions. Give us a call at 956-813-33 or 7737. I even forgot my phone number. I can't believe that. So thank you so much for supporting Laredo Live Podcast. And of course, I want to go ahead and pass the mic to Bojo. Bojo?
Are you sure they can't see that I'm in my boxers?
No. You're good, bro.
Okay.
You're good. Camouflage.
Thank you. Hey, Laredo. How you doing? Bojo here. I want to first say thank you for the invitation, guys. I like what you're doing here. I really admire what you're doing to begin with. So, Laredo, this is your time to speak up. Everything and anything that you've been wanting to see or do, but sometimes are afraid to mention it. And in the sense of, getting out and reaching out to the community, and you have an organization that you don't think that you get enough attention or marketing, or this is the time, bring it up. I know some of the guys have real good forums here and different conversations, and we have excellent guests also. But this is your time. If you have something, I know we have all the ways of that you can communicate with us. You want to bring something up. The only thing is, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it positive, and so that we can get results. There's no issues. Everybody else is bickering back and forth and everything else that's out there that's offered. Here, it's just positive. Let's keep it that way. But now that I hit on the guests and stuff, I wasn't able to be here last week, but I saw the recap of last week's, and let me tell you, man, some of the guests that you had on, excellent. So believe it or not, I dabble in both of the worlds, in the collector's world and also in the lucha or the wrestling. And it's no joke, you know, what you guys were saying about the whole, everybody sees it as, oh, it's just another business. They're just trying to sell this and that. Maybe, if you think that's the front, maybe, but that's to get you in. But it's no joke. So I was at the spot last Saturday for the little show that they had, the toy convention, if you want to call it. And there was a lot of local commerce coming out, which I absolutely love and approve of, and I encourage you to also contribute. And there was, I say it because, you know, I've been a collector since I was a kid, so I have a myriad of different collections, from figures to comic books, cards, cars, everything. And to me, it's a therapy. You know, TJ said that mentioned that, you know, it's a way of an outlet for some. It is for me. I am a combat veteran, multi-tool, and you know, the stigma is, yeah, it is true. You know, I suffer. I don't know. You know, I'm open about it. I suffer from PTSD, and it's a therapy for me. So that's just me. But these guys at the spot, it's very family oriented, and believe it or not, you go there. It's an experience. I mean, I walked in there. I wasn't expecting to watch 1984's Charlie Sheen's The Wraith. You remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
The Wraith?
Wow.
And then after that, of course, Convoy. You know?
Convoy.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It just takes you back, and it's fun to see grown men geeking out over toys that we had in the past and we're happy to see again. So it is an outlet. It's a therapy. So visit the spot. I mean, I know that we're here, but visit the spot. Reach out to them, and if you don't find what they have, ask for it. They have everything. There was 2-3 generations, you know, present at that time, and it's a family event. It's a family-oriented store. You can't go wrong. Reach out to those guys and support your local commerce. Then we had also Sergeant Alvarez,
Sergeant Sanchez.
Sergeant Sanchez
With the State Guard.
With the State Guard.
Yeah.
And I know he did his spill and everything, but I encourage you. There's some of you who, you know, don't ever, you know, I wanted to join, but this and that, you know, back in the day. It's never too late. It's never too late. Like you mentioned, it's volunteer basis, and you want to don the uniform, you want to put it on, you want to represent your country, you want to contribute, feel free to do so. Try it out. If things don't work out, at least you try it, you know, you tried it out. You know, I preach, and there's no what ifs in my life. I encourage you to do the same thing. And then we had Mr. Lucio from the wrestling community.
Lucio Santana.
Lucio Santana.
Yeah, I've seen him because I dabble in the wrestling world also, and I've seen him in his performances. That, you know, he gets into his role, and he was not the gentleman that was here. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. His alter ego is his alter ego. You know, but yeah, that's, you know, we got to support all those kind of things. That's what this is for. This is Laredo. If you think your organization isn't too big or big enough to get representation or noticed by other, you know, entities, speak up, raise up your hand. We're here. This is what this is for.
And that's going to be one of the key elements, Bojo, that, well, from the get-go, as for the radio station and me and TJ, we spoke about this, and we're trying to reach out to the community in Laredo, and then not just Laredo, okay? So we're talking about the surrounding areas as well. If you have a business and you want to go ahead and sell your product or whatever, we invite you. The doors are open. Send us an email, give us a call, text us, whatever, and we'll sit down and talk.
Absolutely.
Yep. So speaking of that, let me give a shout out to the sponsors so far that have been contributing to this podcast. Of course, we got Warrior Way Protection Services. There's a many of security services out there, but there's only one Warrior Way. So you reach out if you all need some kind of services for your business or home. Wizard Wicks Pizza, Eric. We're still waiting for the other pizza, man. You came in the first day, and that's it. You abandoned us. You dropped us like a bad habit. But no, Wizard Wicks Pizza, man, is the best pizza in town. It really is. Mariachi Mix, Outfitters and More. Anything for anything having to do with Mexican artistry, artisanal stuff. And speaking of, let me tell you what's going to happen. for those of you that contribute to the podcast, to today's podcast, and you either ask a question or call in, you see this little article here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's we're gonna give it away. We're gonna put all of you in the little box and draw a name. So every week we're gonna have something from the store, from the sponsor to give away. Whispers Bar and Lounge, Mike Garza and the staff. It's a small, best little kept secret in Laredo. It really is a nice little place to be. Of course, Tejano Express Radio, which Fred is the DJ for, and anything from old to the new Tejano stuff. If you like Tejano music, that's where you got to be. In fact, there's a song there called Kaya by TJ Tejano Country, which is like the best Tejano song ever.
It's in the top 10.
The top 10 of my store. Even my mind is not even number one. It's still like 8. But still, I mean, at least we're trying, right? And of course, the Classic Cats. Classic Cats is a group of old farts. It's a new band out there. In fact, I'm part of it. I'm playing drums and guitar and singing in that one. So if you need a band for your event, again. So these are the sponsors so far. We're going to keep on doing shout-outs for that. So if you notice what Bojo did, he did a recap of some of the guests and the topics from last week. And that's going to be his job in the beginning of every podcast to kind of bring that up. Just in case you all missed it or you want to go back, it's on YouTube, right? So after today, Fred, his job is to upload it to YouTube, he'll edit whatever, put it on YouTube, and then you all be able to, in case you miss it right now. So be ready for that. Let's talk about a couple of things, right? First of all, we lost Batman. We lost Amir Huckleberry. We lost a damn good actor, Iceman. I mean, we lost Val Kilmer a couple of days ago.
Lionheart.
Yep.
Thunderheart.
That's right.
Yep.
I forgot about that movie. So he died of, I think he was diagnosed with throat cancer. And that's going to lead into a segue of today's first guest. But staying on Val, there was a lot of stories that he was difficult to work with and whatever. But he got to admit, he was a damn good actor. And,
One of the best.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of these older guys.
My childhood is disappearing.
Yeah, a little piece of our childhood is gone, but that's okay. I mean, he's in a better place. He fought the good fight, and nothing to be ashamed of, right? So, in case you all didn't know, you all live under a rock, you didn't know that Val Kilmer passed away. Now you know.
Shout out going out to Alan. Thank you for viewing, watching on YouTube. Also going out to Joanne. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube or Facebook Live. Thank you.
Is that Lucio Santana as well?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Let's see. We'll try to figure out if it's Lucio Santana. If it is, go ahead and text me. That way I can make sure we have the right guy. All right. So one more thing I'm going to talk about before we get to our guest. Actually, today's topic was going to be racism, and we'll get into that in a while after our first guest. But if you guys have a story. We're lucky that we live in a homogeneous society that, is I would say 95% Hispanic, maybe between 90 and 95%, depending on the stats. So most of us have not experienced racism. Those of us that have left Laredo, like in the Army and stuff like that, I bet you all of us have a story on racism. And you know what? It's alive and well, and I'm telling you right now, it'll never disappear. I'm going to tell you one thing. This is TJ's theory. We're all racist. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Because if we weren't, you wouldn't subscribe to a culture. Okay? You met people that are Hispanic and they want to act black. Hispanic and they want to act white. Blacks want to act Hispanic, they want to act white. Whites want to act black, whatever. Why does that happen? It happens because they're not happy with their culture or whatever. So we're all racist in one way or another. We really are. The problem is, or the issue is that you cannot act on it. You can be as racist as you want. You just cannot act on it. Now, we can agree to disagree, right? And it's okay. We all have our thought process. We all have our experiences. But you just cannot go around acting on it. It is the year 2025, and it's about accepting and understanding. I'm not saying you have to agree with somebody else, but you have to accept and understand. It's our world just as it is everybody else's. So even though some of us think, some people think that is their world, it isn't. We're all sharing the same airspace. We're all sharing the same trials and tribulations of life. And if you think somebody's different, well, how about this? Maybe we're the ones that are different.
Yep.
Who said that they were different, right? So maybe we're the ones that are wrong. I don't know.
But you know what, TJ? It's funny that you mentioned that, but everybody is racist. You know,
Oh, yeah.
whether some of us admit it or not, or to what
think
level.
we are. Yeah.
But it goes even beyond that. So some of us are even racist with our own selves.
Yep.
Because we constantly, I mean, who's the only person or entity that can stop you from doing anything? Yourself.
Yourself.
And sometimes we underestimate ourselves or underqualify ourselves. Like, no, I can never do that. So you're being racist with yourself, with your opportunities that you can hold and have. So I'm telling you, it's exactly what you mentioned. And like you said, we can agree to disagree, but everybody is racist to a certain extent.
Yep. And prejudice, of course, we're all prejudiced.
God.
So again, those are basic human thought processes. They're constructs, and that's okay. You just cannot act on them.
Correct.
Yeah, that's where the problems start. That's what the problems start. So again, that's the underlying theme of today's podcast, and we'll get to it back and forth as we move on. But before we get too much into that, let me go ahead and introduce our first guest. And I'm really glad that she agreed to come on. Ms. Patti Vela is a big advocate for anything having to do with the ugly illness or disease of cancer. And one of the main reasons that I'm happy that she's here is because, I lost my mom when I was 16 years old to cancer. And being an only child, I didn't have any support from anybody. It was just back then in the 80s, it's, suck it up, buttercup, right, and move on. But now it's different. Now there's a lot of programs that can assist, not only financially, but emotionally and in other ways. So I'm really glad that you're here, Patti. I'm really glad you took the time to come out here and talk about what you're doing. And before we get on, please introduce yourself and let us know what your projects are.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, man.
My journey began about 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. My husband, a stubborn man.
No. Man, I'm not stubborn.
Shocker.
Hell no.
Shocker.
Ay, Dios. Was feeling different. And there was little things here and there, but he didn't want to go get checked. And it was right before his birthday. So I told him, it's your birthday's in May, and that's a perfect time to go get a full checkup. Not just 1, 2, 3, like get blood work and everything. And he was telling me, no, it's just a waste of money. They're going to invent something just to get more money, and we don't have money. I said, well, that's why you have insurance, and that's why you're paying on a monthly basis. So just make me happy. Happy wife, happy life, right? So he went to the doctor, and sure enough, within 5 minutes, the doctor called me and said, I'm not going to let your husband go. You need to come pick him up. His blood pressure is through the roof. And then I said, are you sure that's my husband? Because my husband just went in for a regular checkup. And he said, yes. And he said, there's some things that I don't like. He needs some blood work and some scans done. So sure enough, I meet up with my husband, and the first thing he tells me is like, I told you that we're going to find something, right? And I was like, of course, you're always right, babe. Just get in the car and we'll talk about it later. So the next morning, he was supposed to go get blood work. But being a stubborn man, he didn't. He waited a few more days. Finally, we convinced him. He went. Sure enough, the blood work was bad. There was not one good thing on it. And my husband, if you know him, he's not a sick person, would never go to the doctor. He eats well. He drinks plenty of water. Yes, he does drink adult beverages, right? But not to the point where it's a problem. After the blood work, he had to go get a scan. And it was crazy because that morning of the scan, I told him, I don't know, babe, you look different today. And he started saying, ya vas a empezar tú también. And I said, there's something different about you. And I left with that in mind to work. Sure enough, the doctor called right after he had the scan done in the morning. By 1 o'clock, they were already calling me. He needs to be admitted immediately. And I was like, okay, you're scaring me. Like, what's happening? Luckily, I do have a good relationship with my doctor because I do go get my regular exams, and my doctor was like, he knows us, so he was good and honest, and he called me immediately. I get a hold of my husband, and he tells me, well, I'm busy. I'm at a shoot, and I don't have time. Maybe this afternoon. Maybe, after work. And I'm like, dude, you have 5 minutes to meet me at the house, or that's it, right? So finally, he gave in. We went to the hospital. They had to run 110 tests. By the time I picked him up, I thought I married a minion. He was yellow.
Wow. Wow.
And this you're talking about within 1 week.
Oh, I thought because he had one eye only.
Pues no hace caso. It could have been that, right? So by the time we got to the hospital, the first thing they diagnosed him with was, oh my God, I went blank. I'll tell you in a moment. He was turning yellow. So right away, my mind was, there's something wrong with his liver, right? He started jaundice. So the bilirubin levels were really bad. They started running a bunch of tests, but if you would see him, he looked well. So when I started calling our family and friends, and everyone's like, well, we just saw him on the weekend. He was fine. I'm like, well, he is, but there's something, right? One thing or another, they kept telling us there's something there, but we're not sure. It doesn't look good. We'll let you know. I'm very impatient. So I was like,
Wait a minute. An impatient woman?
Just me, not
It's just
all
you.
women.
It's not all. No, it's just you.
No.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
No, it's just me, right?
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I need to know what's happening, right? So unfortunately, they kept telling us there's something wrong, but I'm not sure. So then later, a doctor came in, and I had met him because I had been part of American Cancer Society Relay for Life, Laredo, many years ago. So when I saw him walk in, I'm like, well, I know he's an oncologist, and I'm sure he's not here to say hi, because I don't think he'll remember me. But I never in a million years would have thought
I expected that. Yeah.
that he was going to tell me that my husband had cancer. So it's hard to hear that word.
Absolutely.
When he walked in and he said, there's a big probability. I'm like, well, what are we to do? It's like, I need to run more tests. And I'm like, you've been running tests. Like, you can't tell me you don't know anything. He's like, it's just, we want to make sure before anything else. So by the moment he tells me that, I start making calls for my family, my friends. We have an amazing support group, and everybody was doing their part. Finally, they're telling me we're going to work on the jaundice, because by this time he was yellow from head to toe, and that was their priority. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I don't know how this works, but I'm sure that the jaundice has to be related to the cancer. I called Houston, I called Dallas, I called San Antonio, and I was just like, can somebody see him? And they were asking, well, can we get copies of the scans? So I would ask the doctor, and they're like, not yet. We'll let you know when it's time. I wasn't seeing any progress. My husband wasn't getting worse, just yellow, but still, that's still not good. Finally, they came into the room and they tell us, so he might have liver cancer. And I was like, okay, so is it yes or no? He has something. I'm like, and it has to be with the liver, because I'm not a genius, but the jaundice was giving it away.
Right.
So they wanted to do more testing. I'm like, you've been doing testing, right? And again, I'm impatient, right? So by this time, they were telling us for sure it's cancer, but they wouldn't tell me what type of cancer, because they weren't even sure themselves. We found a doctor that was willing to see him in San Antonio, so we needed to transport him right away. They wouldn't let him go here because of the jaundice. They wanted to control the jaundice before he was released. But everybody was telling me time is of essence and we need to get it moving. So I needed to hire a private ambulance and go against doctor's orders, pull him out of the hospital, and take off. So they tell me, if you take him, your fault if
Yeah,
anything
the
happens.
typical, yeah.
Yes. So I just looked at my husband and I'm like, do you trust me? Or because I don't even know what I'm doing, but we're not staying here. We took off to San Antonio because of paperwork here, and we were delayed in getting to San Antonio. The doctor that was willing to see him, we got there 2 hours late. I'm like, well, that's Laredo time. Sorry, doctor. He told me, I'm sorry, I can't see him. I have another patient. When it comes to cancer, time is of essence, and I'm not here to be waiting for someone. So I had to wait to see if there was another opening with another doctor. Luckily, God sent me another angel, and we had another doctor come in and treat him, and he said, the first thing we need to take care of is the jaundice. But at the same time, we're gonna find out what type of cancer tomorrow morning. So we said, go for it. The next morning, what was supposed to be an in and out procedure he told me the most 10 minutes. We were there in the waiting room, and there was a huge clock, and I was seeing the time pass. So I was waiting for it to be 10 minutes and waiting for that nurse to come in and tell me Laredo doesn't know what they're doing, and everything was fine. The moment it was 11 minutes, I knew there was something wrong. You just sense it. I went up and I said, I'm calling, I need to see how my husband's doing. And so the young lady said, we're going to take you to another room. I was like, no, that's not right. Yeah. So I ended up going to another room, and the doctor came, and he, just by looking at his face, I knew that was not good, right? So he was telling me that he took a little longer because, yes, they found a tumor. The tumor was located on the pancreas, but it was causing pressure to the liver. So the liver was fine, but the pancreas is not fine. And unfortunately, it looks like there's runs to the main artery. So we don't know how much damage is there. He's like, we did a biopsy, we put a stent, and I will let you know as soon as I get more information. And so he tells me a nurse aide was going to come in and start all the process and guiding us to what to do. So it's a funny story because he tells me, Candy will be here in a moment. And I said, okay. So I go to my husband, and I'm waiting for Candy, and this young lady comes up to me and tells me, hi, I'm Mandy. Nice to meet you. And I tell him, I'm waiting for Candy. She said, sure. She walks out. She brings me a bowl of candy. And I was like, okay, she wants to be funny, and I'm going through hell right now. But it was Mandy, but I heard Candy. And as soon as she brought me the bowl of candy, I just, broke up. My husband was half out of it, so he had no idea what was happening. So she starts explaining the situation. She's like, your husband has pancreatic cancer.
So that's how you found out, through her.
Through Mandy.
Candy.
Finally.
Mandy.
Well,
Mandy.
I heard Candy.
Okay. We're going to call her Candy for today's.
She's such a sweetheart. I think her name should be Candy. So I had no idea what pancreatic cancer was. Unfortunately, in my dumb brain, when I hear cancer, the first thing that comes to mine is breast cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Everybody.
I think that's the most common one.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is that? Like 110 things were running through my mind, and the first thing she tells me is, please do not Google anything. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, okay. But my phone was right next to me, and I had already Googled pancreatic cancer, and the first thing I saw was less than 3% chance of survival.
Mortality, right? Yeah.
So I was like, what? This is crazy. Like, it can't be, because I need him to rearrange my whole house. Who's going to help me do that, right?
Right.
Nice.
By the time he got back to the room and he was already awake and fully focused, the doctor came in and they started giving us a bunch of scenarios. Before we left Laredo, they did tell us, don't bother leaving. If you're lucky, he has 30 days.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. I cannot stand when any fucking doctor says that shit. I can't stand that shit. There's nobody to say that. How can you say that? When you tell somebody you have 30 days, and then they're weak, their body is gonna register 30 days, and they're gonna die in 30 days. Why? I don't understand why they do that. I can't stand it, and I lose faith in these guys when they tell you that. When they tell anybody that.
Yeah.
I
And you're
can't-
right. The mind is plays
Very
games.
powerful.
It is.
It's very,
Very
powerful. I said, okay, we have 30 days. Well, we have 30 days to fight. So that's why we initially took off with going against doctor's orders. Over there in San Antonio, they told us, we can't tell you how long because it all depends on him.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
It all depends what decisions you make,
Yes.
what treatment you start, and how his body
Reacts to it.
reacts to
Absolutely.
it. So the doctor's like, when would you like to start? And my husband answered, right now.
No, yes.
And they're like, are you serious? Most people go home, process.
No.
And we're like, no.
What's the process?
We had so much plans for that summer because that summer, my oldest was about to graduate from TAMU, and my youngest was a senior in high school. So I had some money put away for the senior year because I'm that mom that I'm thinking of homecoming, I'm thinking of prom, I'm thinking of every time she needs to get her hair and nails done. So we had a few pennies put away. Within 1 week, my bank account went from $100 to minus. My plastic, like my husband calls it, gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is crazy. I tell everyone, believe me, I don't care how prepared we are, we're not prepared for cancer. I don't care what cancer it is. It is crazy. And even with insurance, everywhere we would go, it was $5 here, $10 there, $20 here. And then we weren't from San Antonio. Luckily, we had some friends, angels. They hosted us at the beginning of our journey. So once my husband had the port put in, we came back to Laredo, got some clothes, and went back. When he did his first treatment, he was ready for it. He was prepared. He said, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to do it. I said, okay, babe, let's go. It was crazy. It was crazy. So they gave me this paper because we were there for 7 hours. We got there at 7:45. He got his blood check, make sure everything was fine before they would start anything. So he was going through 6 different chemos from 8:15 till 4. We were hoping we would be out by 4:20 to beat the traffic because San Antonio is wow. And then we would go to our friends' houses. Everywhere we would go, all the doctors, they would give us a bunch of paperwork and everything. But I mean, everyone's giving you 110 different informations. And I have this black bag, I remember, and I was just putting everything in there. I wasn't even going through there because in my mind, in my eyes, I had to be there for him. I had to make sure everything was okay. Plus, I had everyone said, but they were old. My daughter's here, right? That no matter what age, your kids need you. But they were so good. My mom came in, my sister came in, and they were helping me with them. But it was those calls like, Mom, I can't find my shoes. Mom, I need this for practice. Mom, and I felt useless when I was over there. But luckily, I have really good girls. Sorry, I'm a crier.
So are we. I am.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh,
cry too.
okay.
I'm a cry too. You won't see me cry, but
But my family was here. My mom and my sister were big support. I only have one sister, but I felt like I had 12 because she was amazing, doing 110 things that she didn't need to do, but she was doing them for me. My husband did really good in his first chemo. That weekend we came home and we were in mass. And he started putting his head down. I said, okay, but he's talking to God. He was in severe pain. He had a toothache. Mind you, it was a Sunday. But he wouldn't tell me. He would just say, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I was like, okay, pick up your head. Everyone's staring at us. And he would say, give me 5 minutes. So our priest already knew what he was going through, and he was telling me, go ahead, leave, it's okay.
yeah.
Right.
But my husband's like, no, I'm staying here. It was until the end of the mass that he tells me, I can't stand the pain. It hurts. And I'm like, what hurts? He's like, my tooth. And I'm like, your tooth? Like, you just had chemo. Like, I've never heard of it hurting your teeth. In everything I read, nothing said a tooth. Well, the crazy thing was that chemo attacks you in your weakest
I was about to
places.
say it exasperated. the
He had
condition.
just had his dental done in March, and he had a spot on one of the tooth. So because of that one chemo, it became the worst cavity you can imagine. Luckily, our dentist was open on a Sunday. I called him, and he's like, run over here. We went, they pulled out his tooth in 2 seconds, and he was fine.
Wow.
But it was just crazy how
Crazy.
in 3 days, what
we-
chemo had done.
Yeah.
All three of us here are familiar with radiation. trust
Oh
me.
God, yes,
It's
definitely.
part of our history with the military. Though.
I
crazy.
didn't have that. So I was just in awe. So when we went back to our friend's house, the ones that were hosting us in San Antonio, my husband started with the sense of smell. So everything was bothering him. And my friend, super nice, was like, I'll turn off the candles. I'll change the soap. I'll change the detergent. I just felt horrible because we were imposing. And yet again, ask her to change the scents that she loves for her house. So the following treatment, we ended up staying in a hotel. That was a horrible one. But the hotel where we were staying, they were super nice. They let us stay in the furthest room from the kitchen because of the smells. And I told them, do not clean the room. Don't go in, no fragrance, no nothing. Well, it hit him worse than the first one.
The second treatment.
The second treatment. The second treatment just knocked him out. My drive back from San Antonio to Laredo took me close to 7 hours, where we had to be stopping because he couldn't. It was too much for him. His stomach. He was nauseated. It was horrible. I used to love San Antonio. I mean, San Antonio to me, I was like, one day I'm going to move over there. Now it was a nightmare
Yeah.
knowing that I had to go back.
Right.
So the third treatment, when we were over there, I learned from finally calling American Cancer Society on the smells. So I took my own bedding. I took my own air freshener. I took everything. So I would prep the room before bringing him in, so that there would be no smells, no different smells. And still, it wasn't what we expected. I was calling American Cancer Society at 3 o'clock in the morning because I didn't know what to do because he wouldn't stop vomiting. I couldn't pick him up from the floor. I'm like, do I run to the hospital or because by now his immune system was so weak that if I would go to the hospital, he might pick up something else. And unfortunately, a lot of the people going through cancer end up dying from something else because their immune system is so compromised.
Yep. Wow.
So we did this for several weeks because he had 27 rounds of chemo.
27. Wow.
He had to
That's crazy.
minimize that tumor. They had to shrink it, and they had to make sure that the attachments to the main artery were not really attached, that it hadn't gone through the main artery,
yeah.
because if not, that was it. There was nothing to be done. And the reason why we were in a hurry to shrink the tumor was so that he can qualify for a surgery called the Whipple,
Okay.
that would be the answer to our prayers. Unfortunately, we got denied twice. But I told the doctor, don't worry, I'll be back. And he's like, after the second time, it's 1 in a million that get to come back. I said, don't worry, I might not win the lottery ever, but we will get to that surgery. And I don't know, luckily, with the help of the doctors, my husband's strength, family, and our community that came together to help us, he became a candidate December the 12th. The doctor tells us his scans look perfect. Go to the specialist and tell him. He was telling me, his nurse tells me he's out of the country right now, but he'll give you an appointment in January. But by this time, like I said, my plastic was gone. Our money was gone. And I learned about the insurance. It was at the end of the year. So we were at zero copay. I needed him to be seen so he can have the surgery and I wouldn't have to sell my house.
Right.
So I needed this doctor to approve. Finally, the doctor called me and he's like, I can't believe it. I don't know how he managed to withhold so much chemo, because we went from single chemo to double chemo to triple chemo. And it worked. So, okay, he's a candidate, but I don't have any openings till January. And I was like, please squeeze us in. Like, find a way. And he's like, if there's a cancellation, we'll call you. But I've never had a cancellation. I said, well, let's pray for the best and prepare for the worst.
Right.
So we came back to Laredo, and I was trying to see what other options I had, because I had to come up with the down payment for the hospital, the co-payment for the surgeon, the co-payment for everything else that they invent.
Yeah, the co-payment for Tencha selling tajis
Co-payment for the co-payment.
for the co-payment.
Yeah. So 2 days later, they called us, and they said, guess what, Ms. Vela, there's a cancellation.
Jesus.
Wow.
Bam.
But it's December the 22nd.
God.
I said, I don't care. They go, you're going to be at the hospital for Christmas. I said, it will be our Christmas miracle.
There you go.
So we went back, they prepped him up, and they tell him, this surgery is not your solution. This is a 50-50 chance. The chances that I can go in, remove the cancer, there's nothing else there, and you just go on to recovery. Or I open you up, there's hidden cancer, and there's nothing else for you to do, because once I open you up, the cancer will go crazy.
Good, good, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we just looked at each other. My husband said, I'm ready. Let's go. And so that's what we did. That Christmas, we were at the hospital. His surgery was supposed to be 12 hours. It lasted 8 hours. His doctor, can I mention his name?
It's up to you.
Okay, Dr. Bathla. It's in San Antonio. Amazing. I'll never play poker with him, though. Never had an expression in his life. I mean, all the times I would talk to him and everything, nothing. No smile, no nothing. So when he walked out of surgery and he looked at me and he put his eyes down, I said, oh my God, it's 8 hours. He told me 12.
Instead of 12, yeah.
He said, it was the easiest whipple I've ever done.
Wow.
Wow.
Everything was in place. I just went in,
Good.
I picked up, and I took out. I was like, I've never seen you smile, doctor. So he
What's
was
his
so
last name?
Dr. Bathla?
Where is he from? Do you know?
No, he's not from the U.S. That's all I know.
That's what I thought.
But he's the nicest person. I'll defend him. No matter what. I mean, to me, he was our savior.
Right.
He did so much. I
That's
would tell
awesome.
him, look, I'm a dummy. So he gave me a picture of exactly what they needed to do.
Right.
So this little square that probably no one can see but me is what they had to cut off.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So he had a major tune-up. That's what my
Yeah,
husband
yeah.
says.
They do tune up, yeah. Wow. And this is what year?
This was 2019,
2019.
December of 2019.
Around 6 years.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, God willing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so when they say no,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That,
you say go.
We go, yes. Like, you know what? I like that. That's what I'm telling you. I cannot stand when these human beings try to play God. I don't like that. Because nobody here in this room or in nobody knows what's going to happen. This is what I tell people. I can tell you exactly when you're going to die. I'm telling you that right now. You want to know when you're going to die? I can tell you. Let me see your hand. Cheers. Do you want to know when you're going to die? I can tell you the date and the time. And I don't know how you're going to die, but I can tell you how. Do you
Well,
want
can
me?
you just tell me the lottery numbers
No,
better?
no. Here it is, real simple. You're going to die when a higher power tells you you're going to die.
Exactly.
Not when some nerd that went to medical school tells you that. Don't allow people ever. Don't take no for an answer. Don't say we can't do this. Move on. What you did, if it wasn't for your tenacity and your boss to say, I want to get out of here. I don't trust you guys. I want to get out of here. Your husband would have been dead. Right?
If we would have waited, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than likely. Or this story would have gone A whole different route.
Exactly.
So again,
Kudos to you.
that's not even. We can talk about the situation in Laredo when it comes to these type of medical support that we don't have in Laredo. I'm sorry, but
That's
when
the
it
truth.
comes to cancer, when it comes to even mental illness, we don't have the support.
We do.
Why? Because we don't know how to attract these professionals. And then you and I had a conversation earlier today about numbers, right? So it's a vicious circle. If we don't have enough numbers, we cannot get enough doctors. And if we don't have enough doctors, we got to go out of town to get the support. And then when are we ever going to get the numbers?
Never.
If people leave. So my mom went to San Antonio with her cancer in 1986. Since back then, and probably before that, we've been having trouble. That we don't have enough doctors. And I'm sorry, but most of the ones we have are not qualified to handle some of these things. Okay? Yeah, I said it. And God forbid I get cancer, because guess where I'm going? Not Laredo.
Not Laredo.
Not Laredo. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm sorry. So it's the truth. I'm speaking the truth. I'm not bad-mouthing anybody in particular. I'm just telling you as a general rule, because of my personal experience, because of what you're telling me, I'm not staying here. I'm gone. I'm out.
Well, I'm just asking the doctors. I mean, be professional and say, I can't.
Yes. Okay. So our ego. Remember, we're human beings. They were men, and everything's about our ego, right? And very few are going to tell you, you know what, this is beyond my control. I'd rather refer you out. No, they're going to want your money. They're going to want your insurance instead of, because why? Because we're just numbers. We need doctors, we need physicians, we need leaders that care about you as a person, not as a number. I'm sorry, but the American medical system is horrible. It really is. I also told you in a conversation we had earlier, I really believe we have found the cure for most of the cancers. I really do. But some medical company or somebody, I don't know, the Masons, I don't know, somebody, some secret society is, and I shouldn't say that because I'm a Mason myself, but somebody more important than the Masons has the answer to this. They have the Holy Grail and they have the answers to cancer. But yet, it's not good for business, right? It's not good for business.
It's sad, yes. It's a moneymaker. Cancer is a moneymaker.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous, the amount of money.
Anyway, so you got through it. So tell me now, please, real quick about what you're doing now, how you're trying to help other families,
Okay.
other people.
So after our whole ordeal, after his surgery, he still had to go back for 32 rounds of radiation. And after his 32 rounds of radiation, he went in for 8 rounds of preventive chemo. And after that, the craziest thing happened. A virus came in. So we had to put everything on hold.
On hold. Oh, man.
And the doctor tells me, you need to go home and put him in a bubble. And I tell him, oh my God, you don't understand, we're Mexicans. And the moment we get home, everybody wants to celebrate.
Yes.
Yep.
And he's like, he can't be around anybody. We don't know what this virus is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we don't know what's going to happen. And we don't know how it will affect him. So he needs to be in a bubble. And sure enough, as I'm driving home and I'm calling my mom, I'm on my way home. Don't tell anybody, Mom. If anyone's there, get them out. I need to spray Lysol. I need this and that. And she's like, well, can you stop somewhere and buy toilet paper? And I'm like, what, Mom? She's like, there's no toilet paper in Laredo. I'm like, what?
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
She's like, there's no milk, there's no eggs, and there's no toilet paper. So if you can stop somewhere, please do. And I was like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now you know it's COVID.
That's yeah,
No.
it was COVID. It was
Yeah.
COVID.
So I'm literally stopping at every little town, and everyone is running, getting whatever they can get their hands on. So what do? I follow the crowd, and I'm just getting whatever I can. I have to buy a nice chest to put the milk and put eggs, and then buy toilet paper, buy paper plates, because I don't know what's happening or how long this is going to be or what my husband's going to need.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of times it's not the situation or the threat, it's the chaos that people create.
Yeah.
They, like good sheep, they follow what everybody else is doing, and oh, the gas is going up. Oh, it's a super. Yeah, and if you buy into it, guess what? they're going to take advantage of that. And the prices will continue to soar. And you follow them, it's just a vicious cycle that. So I've always said you have to react to the situation, right? Assess the situation and always be prepared to a certain extent. We're not going to be doomsday preppers here, everybody, but always be prepared. And in a situation like this where you see the chaos, you want to run away from that. And you only do that by preparing yourself. But unfortunately, when COVID hit, there was a new threat, neutralized the world, which is what was the gain from it. But we're still recovering for it, believe it or not. But hopefully everybody learned that you have to first assess the situation.
Yeah.
Because then you're not part of the solution. Now you're part of the problem. Because now you're going to the store for a Matt Dash and emptying out the shelves, and the producers, the suppliers are just going to restock. Oh, you go back and get the same, another pack of toilet paper. Guess what? They're going to restock. And here you are pouring all your money on something that we don't even know if it's a real threat or not. So that's crazy how that works. But
So real quick, so your husband now is alive and in remission, correct?
He's not in remission yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's not. He hasn't been titled remission.
Yeah,
Yet.
he's no evidence of disease
Okay.
Okay.
good.
at the moment because of the type of cancer he had and the severity of the situation. So right now, we're waiting. They're telling us hopefully by his 7th year, if he continues the way he's in recovery, he will get to that point. So when we came back from that chaos, like we were saying, one of my dear friends had passed away in December from cancer, and she was a big part of American Cancer Society. And we had been talking to each other. She was my rock. So when I'm like, she's going through cancer, and I'm calling and I'm crying and telling her what's happening to my husband, but she was there for me when I think I needed to be there for her. Well, she passed, but right before she passed, she told me, when you come back, you're going to join us again, and you're going to continue, you're going to help me, and we're going to make a difference. And I said, yes, girl, we're together. Laredo's not going to know what hit him.
Right.
Unfortunately, she passed.
Wow.
So I promised her that I was going to do whatever I can. So I came back, and I started being part of American Cancer Society, where it's a group of ladies and gentlemen that spend so much time trying to make a difference in our community in the fight against cancer and giving everyone a little bit hope. And so one of our main fundraisers is Relay for Life, and it's coming up. And I'm hoping people would come join us and help us make a difference.
Talk to us about Relay for Life.
Okay,
please.
Relay for Life for this year will be February the 25th. It's a Friday. It starts at 6 p.m. and it ends at 1 a.m. And what we do is we have a parade of survivors. Super nice. I mean, we have all these people that have gone or are going through cancer be part of the parade. That's the opening. And then we have a parade of teams where everyone that registers forms a team, and they're the support for everyone going through cancer. Then at around 10 o'clock, we have a ceremony called the Luminaria. And they're small bags, and they are in honor or in memory of someone that has gone through or has lost their battle. And they light it up. They light up our walkway. So I would really hope that people join us. Our goal was to have over 50 teams this year, because ever since COVID, the event has gone down. Last year we did have 52 teams. Right now we have 41 teams. So I'm sure, we still have, everyone has time to join us and may help us make a difference.
Okay,
Of course.
well,
Maybe the Big River Talks crew.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll see how we can. We're gonna keep on promoting this until that time comes.
Yes.
So let me bring something up. Apparently, has anybody heard anybody complain here about anything? Are we complaining?
No way.
All right.
No.
Because we had somebody put in that why are we complaining if your husband? We're not complaining.
We're not complaining.
Nobody's complaining about anything. We're telling the story. But here we go again with sometimes whether it's mental illness or needs attention, whatever, yeah, we're gonna welcome the comments, guys, but be careful because we'll not only shut you down, but we're gonna report you. This is again, we're here trying to make something positive. We're not gonna put up with any kind of crap, especially from warriors behind the textbook that think they're real brave. So don't do that. Just don't do that, guys. We're not here for that. Okay. Right now, everybody's welcome, but do not do that.
And let me tell you, people will ask me, why are you talking about it? Or why your husband is doing good? Well, because we're hoping that through our mistakes or through our journey, because we had a lot of bumps in the
Right.
road, we can make a difference in someone else's journey.
Exactly.
Like I said, there's a lot of programs out there that can help you that people are not aware of, that we didn't find out until later in our journey. That would have made a big difference in our journey if we would have known from the beginning.
Yeah,
Complain?
absolutely.
I mean, what is there to complain? It's an illness
when
that
I-
we don't know that if it's going to hit. It doesn't say, you know what, this person has insurance, has money, can't. Let me fall here. No, cancer doesn't.
No, they don't discriminate.
It doesn't.
It doesn't discriminate. So, the other people are saying, we need to maybe, and it's great. They're later on, we'll
Interacting.
talk about Alzheimer's. Guys, we have endless podcasts coming up. So right now we're focusing on Cancer Society and what you're doing as a community member to advocate, to inform people, to give somebody some hope. I'm telling you, when I went through it, I'm an only child, in case y'all didn't know. I'm the guy that takes the football, and if he pissed me off, I don't care. I'm taking it because I'm that guy. So going through, at 16, my mom dying, whatever, nobody reached out to me or my dad. Nobody said, there's these programs. Nobody gave us money. Nobody gave us anything, And so what you're doing now,
It's admirable.
well, you and the organization, but you being taking the time to come out here and listen to three dumbasses, being in our podcast, that's awesome. It really is.
Paying it forward.
Yeah, because if you don't have, of course, it would be great if we all had money to give out, but we don't, right?
Yeah.
But you're paying it forward in the sense of, to use Bojo's term, taking your time to communicate, and at least if one person listens, and because right now you're telling us, and thank God I don't have an issue with cancer in my family or friends, but or me, but that can change in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, just like it changed for you guys. From out of nowhere. Like I said, cancer doesn't discriminate. Cancer doesn't care. Cancer's gonna do what it's gonna do. So, but if they're prepared, at least they know who to go to. American Cancer Society.
Yes.
And why is it important for us to give a little bit here and there? Because $5 of my dollars may not change the whole program, but now we have 15 here. Now we have 30 together. I mean,
Every penny makes a difference.
Exactly. It
You'll be amazed. I'm telling people, they'll tell me, so where does the money go to? Do you give someone in Laredo? I'm like, let me tell you, even if they would have given me the money, there's not enough money for you to give me.
No.
Unfortunately, our relay doesn't raise but maybe 100,000. My husband's one chemo was over $350,000.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, my husband's not the only one going through this. How can we help everyone? I'm a big believer in research. Right now, thanks to American Cancer Society, he's on, they come check his blood work every 8 weeks. I don't pay a dime.
that's just an extra precaution, right? As a
Yes.
proactive measure.
That's to try to catch it because
Yeah, in
unfortunately,
case there's a change,
yes,
yes.
the cancer he had is horrible, and if it returns, it's going to return with a vengeance.
But what she's saying is it's a resource that she didn't know was out there.
Yeah, but I
And
didn't
a lot of people don't know that it's out there.
No.
But
And-
thanks to her doing her
Yeah.
research, taking the time, boom, here we are.
Yes, so that's something I can't put a price on.
No.
We stayed over 150 nights at hotels. If you calculate how much that would have come out of my pocket, which I don't have, American Cancer has a program, and they helped us to stay. Now you're going to say, but didn't you have your friends? Yes, but let me tell you, I can't ask them to rearrange their whole house.
No, it's hard. Even your own family. Look, at the end of the day, you're a union, you're a family, and you're gonna have to take care of yourself. I mean, you can get a little bit of help, and we much appreciate it. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to figure this out as a family. That's the way it is. All of us, all of our little unions, our little cliques, our little tribes, whatever you want to call it. we're on our own. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like I said, this will help. Maybe a family member will help, but they're not gonna sustain you. They're gonna maybe just to kind of push a little bit, but they're not gonna sustain you. So this is just another tool that people need to understand.
Yes.
It's out there.
So can I give you the number?
Yes,
So I can read it out.
Yes.
It's 1-800-227-2345. And they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays.
Can
This
you
is the-
repeat that one more time?
Yeah, please.
1-800-227-2345.
This is the American Cancer Society.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have another organization that I am also part of, and it's from San Antonio, and it's called Purple Stripes. So this is mainly for anyone going through pancreatic cancer.
Oh, that's specifically to.
Yes,
Pancreatic.
but American Cancer Society, when I called the 1-800 number and registered my husband with the type of cancer he had, they immediately said, this program is going to help you
Oh,
more.
got it.
So they opened the doors to this program. And this program has been with us throughout this journey when I finally called. When I found out about this program, they have helped us.
Nice.
So American Cancer Society was helping us with a certain portion because there are some hotels that, let's say they're charging 100. American Cancer was able to help us with 50. They would help us with the other 50.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Nice.
Or American Cancer said, you know what, we'll pay 2 days, they pay 1. On his radiation, they took turns. It was 6 weeks that we had to stay in San Antonio. So American Cancer paid 1 week, PanCan helped another week, and then there's another program in San Antonio called ThriveWell. They helped us another week.
Wow.
Yeah, see, and all
So
that-
again, all these programs we don't know about, and because we're not, thank God, in that need to know.
And not only that, it's just like, it's proven, like she's tested.
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And
she
then-
actually
Because a
went
lot
through
of,
it,
you know, you'll give out the 800 number, you're like, nah, you know what, they're gonna help me, you know, this much only. Or like, but you've tested all these or put them to the test and, you know, thank God that they're still contributing and supporting and helping. So there you go. I mean, it's, as we say, it's combat proven. So it actually exists.
working.
The
It
help
does.
is there for you.
Yes.
That's great.
They
That's
didn't
great.
give me the money the way some people are
Right.
saying.
No.
It's because I need the money. I'm like, believe me, there's no one that can give you the amount of money
Nope.
that you're going to need.
Well, that's awesome. But like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time to come out here and talking to us, especially because this podcast is in its infancy, and but it's gonna. This is the type of interview, and the one coming up after you that we need. We need to expose what's real, what's out here, and get it out there because. Unfortunately, news medias and news venues are not going to pay attention to you because it's not sensationalistic news.
It doesn't
you know.
cost, create.
You know,
Right?
today's I was watching the newscast earlier, and unfortunately, you can't say homeless anymore. You know that, right? Now you have to say unhoused. The new term for everybody is not homeless; it's unhoused. What fucking ever? They don't have a house. It's homeless. Anyway, they found a body of a deceased.
Yeah.
That's super sad.
It
It's super
is.
sad because we have more people.
So is that person not dead but unlived?
No, he's unlived. Unlived.
Unlived.
Unlived.
Yeah, he's unlived. So my point is this: we have more people that are running animal shelters, and which is great. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have enough support for actual human beings, and it's hard because a lot of these people have mental illness, they have drug use, and it's hard to get to even if you want to bring them in, it's hard because of their mental status, because of the drug use, and then this happens. It's a tragedy. It should never happen, but I mean, we cannot save the whole world. So right now, your focus is this is your lane. Stay with it. You become our reference is the SME, subject matter expert.
It's your
Stay in
lane.
that lane. Don't get
your
distracted
fight.
because you cannot engage in every fight. You just can't.
No,
You know,
it's
you're
hard.
right now you're not a generalist. You're specifically assigned to this job. This is your calling.
It's your
Stay with
battle.
it. Become the expert and spread your message, and you're gonna do great.
And if you do need the support and all that, let us know,
Yeah.
please.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Keep
Really.
reaching out to us. That's
Yes.
what this forum is for.
Yes.
That's
Our
what it
doors,
is.
our
So,
doors are wide open.
Thank you so much for your support.
Yep.
And
Big-
and like
big-
I said, just by giving out the number, like I tell everyone, put this number on your phone, and this will be your friend that you hope you never need to call. But when you when you need to call them, they will be there for you.
Just say you have it so that you never have to use it,
Yes.
if that makes sense to somebody.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Miss Patty.
Yep.
You are a warrior. It's admirable what you're doing. You are what we call and we lack a lot of. You're a mentor now, believe it or not, because you are the pathway or a guide for somebody who's barely initiating in this kind of battle. That they're not alone. There's somebody out there who's already traveled the path and fought the good fight, and here you are. And here you are. You're the example, and it's doable, and you can get through it, and that there's help for them. They're not alone. They're not. I guarantee you, some of the people somebody out there that's listening right now, you've touched them, you've made contact with that person, and I challenge that person. She's still here. If you need to talk to her, reach out to us. Laredo, this is your time. This is what this is for. We're not just bringing and exposing all this for, to fill some time. And no. This is a reciprocal, entity here. So if you stick around, maybe if somebody decides to call in, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, please stick around. So, again, somebody chiming in about making disparaging comments about oncologists in Laredo. I never said every single doctor in Laredo is not capable. I didn't say that. What we're saying is that there's a lot of people that should not be holding that.
TJ, that person. I empathize with what they feel. This is not the podcast for you. Turn us off.
Yeah, if you don't like it, guys, nobody's forcing you to be here.
Please leave the podcast. This is not for you.
Yeah, nobody's forcing you to be here. But thank you for your spill. But anyway, again, enough of that. We're done with that part. Do stick around, please.
Yes,
before
of
our next guest comes up. So do me a favor, can you set him up?
Yeah.
While I talk about some other stuff.
Yeah.
So real quick, guys, let me tell you about some stuff that I found out. Changing the conversation here a little bit. So there's a program that I just found out about, and it started in Portland, the city of Portland in Oregon. That's called CHAT, C-H-A-T, Community Health Assess and Treat. Community Health Assess and Treat. These guys are not sworn firemen, but they are EMTs. Now check this out, Bojo. They are EMTs. So what they do is, there's a lot of times that people call 911 because they can't find their medication, because they feel sick. But they don't. There's not really an actual emergency.
It does happen.
But I need them to come here and switch it over so I can. So these go out, and instead of wasting 911 resources, whatever, they go out and they assess. They assess, and sometimes within an hour, they take care of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a whole different budget, but this is something that maybe the city of Laredo might be interested in looking at. CHAT, Community Health Assess and Treat. I thought that was super interesting. It's a way, especially with a lot of these overdose calls, that Narcan has to be, applied and stuff. So a lot of times these guys, this group can, and not only that, they don't go to the ER. They don't overwhelm the system. There's no extra charges. It's really proven itself to be a very successful program. So I would challenge, if anybody from the city is listening, to look into that. I think it's a great idea, and maybe we can implement it here in Laredo. That's one thing that I found out. Another thing that I found out.
Is there a link for you to put up?
I don't.
Contact info or not
Yeah.
yet?
Just go into either portland.gov or
Search it up.
or CHAT, chat. Yeah, Community Health Assess and Treat. We'll try to see if we can put a link to all these websites at the end of this. We'll see what we can do. Another one is called Watch Dogs, DOGS. Okay, that's of great students. And this is a very interesting program because it was established back in 1988. And basically what it is this. You get a group of dads that come into the schools and volunteer their time. And they swear that bullyism, misbehavior, all that stuff has changed and improved tremendously by having these male role models as figures, either reading to the students, playing with them outside, whatever, providing extra eyes and ears for the teachers. I mean, this program is also phenomenal. I don't know why Laredo hasn't picked up on this. It's actually a nonprofit. So that's something else that we need to look at. Maybe anybody in education is interested in something like this. I'm going to look more into it. Maybe we're going to approach some of these schools to get involved with this. The teachers love it because you have extra eyes and ears. And again, a lot of these kids don't have father figures in their lives. So when these gentlemen come in, they're not just fathers. They're uncles, they're older brothers, they're stepfathers. They're just male figures that a lot of these kids are lacking.
And again, it's mentorship.
It's mentorship, exactly.
That's what it is.
And there you go.
So that's another one. Watch Dogs, DOGS, stands for Dads of Great Students. Again, another program, guys, that I just heard about, and I think it's awesome. I think we should try to see if we can get some of these programs in Laredo. We really need this stuff. So, all right. So before I think we're done with that. So I'm gonna do a shout out one more time for our sponsors, Silverio Martinez, attorney at law. Any issues with the law, call Silverio. He's there available to help you. Warrior Way Protection Services, Worcester Wicks Pizza, and Mariachi Mix, Whispers Bar, of course, the Hunter Express Radio, and Classic Cats band. All right. So, again, thank you for our first guest. I mean, a lot of you are like, well, it's sad. Of course, it's real life, guys. But now let's talk about something also that's very important and that's in the community that's growing fast, I believe. We have here a couple of guests from Drag House. How do you pronounce it?
House.
House. I love the name. So we got Leo Oyala, all right, better known as Didi Lee Parker, right?
Hello.
We got, who's Cande? Which one of you is Cande?
Cande.
Candelario Rodriguez. You know, he couldn't pronounce any of your names. I'm like, what's his name?
God,
What's his name?
true.
Candy? I'm like, what Candy? I'm like, it's Candelario.
I was like, it's candy.
It's Vera Versace. How do you pronounce it?
Well,
It's a play on Versace,
yeah,
right?
it's a play on
So
Versace.
how do you pronounce it?
Versace.
Versace.
Just like in Showgirls.
Showgirls.
You got it.
And of course,
Because I never saw that movie.
yeah, never. We've never seen
yeah.
it. We don't see that kind of stuff.
Because it's not on Tubi for free.
And Aaron Guerra, right?
Yes.
The correct? Corally looking.
Yes.
I love it. So we're missing John. John didn't make it.
Yes, he couldn't join us.
I asked him. He goes, I'm gonna spell the last name. Segueda, really Mexican? Really? But anyway, so Boo Boo was supposed to be here. But anyway, guys, thank you for being here. I was really hoping to get you guys in your costumes, in your outfits, because I've seen you, and you guys are awesome. I'll tell you a story about these guys in my experience in a little bit. But I'm gonna let you take it, Leo. Please introduce yourselves and let us know what you guys are all about.
I think you guys should do that. You guys are the drag house. You started with the drag house.
Okay, you know what? Good idea. Who started this? Whose idea was this?
Me.
Okay. All right, Vera, talk to us.
Okay, so I started doing drag I want to say now like 7 years ago.
Okay.
And 7 years ago there wasn't a real drag scene anymore. Like the gay club wasn't here around anymore. Chelsea's had already closed down, so there was no shows anywhere. So I had started 7 years ago. I started with an organization, Campus Ally Network at TAMIU. They were, it's an LGBTQ organization that helps students there at TAMIU. And they were hosting their first ever drag show, on campus. So
What year was this?
this was 7 years ago. How long ago?
Like 98, more or less 98.
The 1800s. She's the oldest queen.
In 2017, I think. 2017.
1904.
2017.
Back in the 1700s.
Back in my days.
No, we started there. I started there. The president at the time, who's also my drag sister, who started with me the whole drag house scene. She was the president at the time, and she was like, "Well, I want to have a drag show, but I don't know any drag queens. So, any members that want to volunteer?" And I was like, "You know what? I've never done it, but it seems like fun to just perform and have a good time on that stage. And I've always wanted to dance, but I was always too shy to because I've always been on the heavier side. So we did the show. I thought it was fun, but not really. I hated it. Putting on the wigs, putting on the heels, and dancing in heels. Fuck, it's hard.
I know. No,
What
what I
my
saw
feet
you guys,
were
yeah.
aching.
That's crazy.
So I decided that I wasn't going to do it, but then my drag mother, Jasmine Knight, started doing some shows at Taboo when they had opened up. She was having like newcomer night, but she didn't really have a lot of newcomers. So she messaged the girls from Tamu, myself, my drag sister, Midnight, if we wanted to go do it. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. But you have to get me in makeup and everything because I don't know anything. Before I started doing drag, I didn't know like foundation, I didn't know contour, I didn't know all these contacts. Yeah, I didn't know any of those things.
You were where we are. We don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
we see it, but I don't know what the hell. Anyway.
But then I learned. So then we started performing at Taboo. I performed once and I loved it. It was a different scene than it was in Tamu. It was nighttime. I got to do something more adult,
Right.
not so family friendly like I had to at Tamu, of course, because we were around like 18-year-olds and everything,
right.
right? So it wasn't a nightclub. But we started there, and then from there on, like we started doing shows every Wednesday at Taboo, or every other Wednesday, and then it gradually got to every Wednesday. And then we did pageants. I ended up winning my first pageant. Miss Gay Laredo Metroplex. That hadn't been done in like some time already. It had been some years since it's been done. So it was done and I was the first winner with that again. So that was fun. And then there was a lot of hate when I first started, of course. The older generation, the queens that were already established before I came in or any of the other girls came in. Not that they were haters, but they were haters. Like,
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So give us an idea of some of that stuff because, I mean, you guys have been, setting a path for the community to hopefully the next generation of queens and LBG that they can feel more comfortable and safer, right? You can imagine the people before you what they went through.
oh yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the stories. You read the historical text. It's just like in our case with the Vietnam vets when they came back from war, they were treated like shit. They were called baby killers. I mean, we were treated. I had honor guards of people clapping at us and thanking us for our service, and these guys didn't. So the same thing, the same mentality of people haters that are anti whatever. Again, so if you don't mind, any of you are sharing probably one of the experiences you all had when it comes to that. I'm sure you all have 1,000 stories. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, like the biggest one for me was like when they would say stuff about me online on Facebook. Some of the girls were like saying that I had herpes because I had like bumps on my chest, and then because like I was busted. I mean, I will give them that. I was busted. Did not look good, but I was just starting, so I didn't know better, and they were just, obviously going for the obvious point, calling me fat and all that, and ugly and all those things, but. Yeah. That was the start of La Payasonica. That name was was given to me from them, but I reclaimed it. When my Twitter handle is La Payasonica.
Why would they call you?
But they called me that. Why did they call me that? Because of my clown makeup. There's sometimes I would do like clown makeup.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And they'd call me that, but overall because they thought I was a clown because I was ugly. But I
wait,
mean,
who said you were ugly?
all the girls that were already established before me. So like they have all
got
this
it.
experience.
So within the community,
I was
again,
gonna say,
Oh yeah,
Being
yeah.
a-
It's
Yeah.
within the
Haters.
community.
wow,
Uh-huh.
that's
I mean,
crazy.
It happens.
and this is
everywhere.
supposed to be your foundation, your core, your group, your wow.
Or family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Family, yeah, the
those
community,
girls, I didn't know those girls personally, and they didn't know me either. So like, it was all just based on like appearance. They just saw me and they just didn't like me because I was different, or they didn't like any of my sisters because we didn't look like them, or we weren't performing the music that they wanted to hear. They wanted to like listen to like the 90s, the early 2000s, like the typical 1, 2, 3, 4 dance moves. But we were out here, like some of us were doing, one of my sisters was doing Pink Floyd. One of my other sisters was performing to Rob Zombie. You know, some of us were like, when I first started, I will admit that I was very much more alternative than I am now. You know, overall, I evolved into like a pageant girl, I guess, when I started competing. And then that's when, you know, I started to get a lot more respect from the community. It was around the time of COVID.
Okay.
When we came back from COVID and everything was lifted, and some things were lifted, of course, and we started doing shows again at Frontera Beer and Wine Garden.
Yeah, I knew you guys were performing there.
Yeah, so we started there in 2020. Our first show was in June for like Pride Month. They were doing a Frontera Amor. And then from there on, like our trajectory of drag just kicked off again because there wasn't that place like there was before, and we had our own group separate from Taboo.
Okay.
We didn't have that specific venue anymore. We had something else a little bit more different where it'll be more with the community. I felt like a lot more love and acceptance in that place than I did at Taboo. So then that place, like, we just grew from there on.
That's interesting. Now, did you ever get to meet any of these haters? Have you actually met them?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
Do they realize how big and tall you are that you can like?
Oh, no, yeah.
They don't get it, right?
They're bigger.
He goes from payasónica to killer clown.
Yeah.
In
They
0 to
don't
60.
realize how big you guys are. You know, they just because they wear makeup doesn't mean they're gonna kick your ass.
I wouldn't call him payasónica.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, like, man. But no, that's awesome. I mean, look, like I said, guys, the whole purpose of this program is to, you know, include and again expose what the members of the community are. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all just trying to get through life. You know, whether it's Patti and her struggle with her husband, you guys, us. I mean, we all have our issues. We all have our problems. Right now, I'm working on my problem. But it's water. It's water.
We have a lot of problems.
You deal with your problems on your own. Deal with your problems.
Yeah, you figure out your double damn self. But no. So anybody else has a horror story of any negative experience? Or?
I guess the only negative experience that I had faced was when we were at the parade. So we were invited.
This year?
Was it this year? Last year.
Last year.
We were invited to the Christmas parade, right?
Yeah,
Really? Oh, that's better.
Yeah. So we went out, we dressed up, and they had put us on the street with a bunch of middle schoolers, right? Like there was a middle school band. So we were out there, and the kids are enjoying it. Like they're loving it. Again, we're not exposing anything.
No,
we're
right,
there
no.
to have, like we were dressed properly. We were covered up and everything. And this dad, I remember, like just came up to us. He's like, "Can I ask y'all something?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "What does all this have to do with Christmas?"
Really?
And we're like, "I don't know," because he went to you, no? It was you that got attacked. I was just there brushing my hair. But yeah,
You're like, ask her.
and like they pulled us out. Like the dad complained. Like he said that he was like we were like exposing to the kids and stuff, and they didn't want us near that. Yeah. And again, like the kids had like the total complete opposite. Like they thought we were celebrities or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, again, so look, I'll be transparent. I had asked some people to come in and, no, I don't want to be really associated with what? Just because I'm talking, just because you guys are here, has nothing to do, or just because I'm in front of you, doesn't mean that you're going to pick up my way of living. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Are we still that close-minded, Laredo? Are we still thinking like that? Really? There's so many other things to worry about than this.
Yep.
All you're doing, and I've seen this. So let me tell you a story real quick. I have a business, you know, and I mentioned it already, Medici Mix, whatever. And you guys went to perform, and I think the second act, I don't know if it was one of y'all, but it started raining. You were out there doing your thing because Didi does the MCing and all that stuff. So it was somebody.
We all take turns.
I know, but that day was you.
Yeah.
But it was the second act, and it started raining. And as it is, it was a small crowd. Some people left because of the rain. But you guys, I mean, we took it inside. And let me tell you, these ladies performed for, I thought it was maybe 3 hours. It was at least over 2 hours. I mean, I'm serious. They kept on changing wardrobe. They kept on. They performed to around 7 people only, and you all did that performance like if you guys were in front of 10,000 people. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. And to me, and not only that, when you all left, no, I didn't find a single piece of trash anywhere. Talk about professionals. Talk about. I'm serious. So I was.
Sorry, no finger snapping.
Yeah, no, none of that shit. but my point
I'm
is
gonna
that
get some hate for that. Now.
my point is that you guys are very professional. I was very impressed, and that's why I told Didi I want you guys here. I want you guys early on, because later on, as this thing gets bigger, I want you guys back. I want you guys in your full attire, so that people can see, and understand that we're on this fight together, man. We're on this fight together. You guys provided such happiness and distraction and entertainment that day. As tiresome as it is, I can just imagine, putting all that crap on, to try to be that persona, that takes a lot of work. I mean, not anybody. I couldn't do it. That's no freaking. Well, first of all, I'd be an ugly. I'd be an ugly queen. I'm sorry. I'd be like.
You're an ugly guy.
I'm an ugly guy now. Thanks a lot.
My bad.
Says,
Is this on?
says the one that looks like you're unhoused.
Unhoused is the
Unhoused.
correct
Yeah,
term.
unhoused. So
Unhoused.
not unlived.
Homeless.
Was it unlived? Unlived. All right. So, guys, I know that you guys do shows. I know that you've done also shows for charity, correct? How can anybody get in touch with you guys in case to ask for a favor or for you guys to come in? How does that work? Is there a process? How does that work?
Make him talk. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Come on, which way are you looking?
So as far, I guess, like our intake that you could say, like we take a bunch of requests, like we've done personal backyard shows, birthdays, what have you. We've done the
Baby
nonprofit. But I mean, as far as like other nonprofit stuff, we've done like Tammy U performances that we've done with the Campus LA Network. They've done a Pride March when they were under scrutiny. What else have we done for like recently we've had the toy drive organized, the tree in the garden at Frontera, where we collaborated with Laredo Carnalismo Brown Berets for the Angel Tree,
Oh,
which
nice.
is the prison fellowship. So that was a really good success, and being able to take those toys that they not necessarily needed, but whatever kid comes their way, they're not going to turn away.
Yeah.
So it really came in handy, like, and just to be there and support of them was really a good, give back to us. And it doesn't stop there. We have future ideas with the seniors that they work with.
Nice.
For cap and gowns fundraiser, so we do have that coming.
That's
up as
awesome.
well.
See, right there again,
Yeah.
it's gonna go to causes that are really needed and nobody knows about, nobody thinks about. That's what I like about you guys. That even though you might get, the hate and whatever once in a while, some ignorant asshole out there, that doesn't matter. What matters is you guys are doing this from the heart, with true, no expectation of anything. That's what matters. And I wish more people thought that way, because that's what's going to bring Laredo to the next level, I think. If more people will think the way you guys think, whatever the cause is, whether it's Cancer Society, it doesn't matter. You guys are different. You guys are special. And I'm talking about as an organization. And that's what I'm trying to promote. We want to promote with this podcast. That Laredo, we have the problems that every other city has. We have the challenges. It's a little different because we live in the frontera, and that's totally different, right? So we have the United States, we have Texas that's different from the United States. Then we have Laredo that's different from everything else, right? We're our own ecosystem. And we don't know it, we're invented because we're Hispanic and that's what we do, right? But I'm going to continue giving you guys kudos because this is not easy stuff. And doing it without expecting anything. To me, that's huge. It really is. Because when you leave that, when you finally get to dress down and relax, I'm sure your feet are freaking hurting. I'm sure your backs are hurting. You're sweating in places you didn't even know, you could sweat. It's like this today was hot as hell, right? And I was thinking all day, I'm sweating like a whore in church. I mean, that's how much I was sweating, right? but But and then performing in Laredo. I mean, that's not easy. Even I bet you in
And
December
outdoor
you were still
venues.
sweating your ass off because Laredo. If you want to see changes in Laredo, get yourself a calendar because you're not gonna see the temperature. So, but anyway, so the reason I asked about the fundraising is because I'm sure I want. So when people see the broadcast today, and they might want to ask or whatever. If they start asking us whatever, we'll just refer to you guys. You guys handle that. But I definitely want you guys back at my place. We got to do something more, because this is very important. Now, look, I know there's been a lot of controversy that, should we expose the culture to little kids, whatever. You're not doing anything. You're not pushing your views on anybody. You're just performing entertainment. That's it. Mm-hmm. It is up to me as a parent to guide that child, right? Whatever he or she wants to do, right? I've got 5 brats. Out of those 5 brats, only one went to the military. Everybody else said, no, thank you. And that's okay. I didn't force him to do it. He did it on his own. You know him, right? You know Joshua. So I never, ever try to push my personal views on my kids. So it's up to me to guide them. Just like what? They're not going to see a rated R movie ever because they're going to get a crazy idea, really? So how come nobody says anything about that? I mean, again, music, they're going to listen to all this negative shit. I mean, it's on you to guide them, as a parent. So don't blame us. Don't blame us that are different. No, blame you, parents. Blame you for not guiding them, for not teaching them right. Now, if there's a group of people intentionally exposing kids to inappropriate, that's totally different.
That's totally different.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But if you're just, again, you're out in public and nobody says anything else. Now you got one crazy parent, and I say crazy because maybe they're not educated enough, maybe they're not insecure of their own sexuality, whatever it is. Don't throw it back at me, bro. Fix your shit first. Then we can talk, right? Now, I'm not saying you guys are perfect because none of us are. But again, who else is doing this type of stuff? It's hard. It's tough. It really is. I mean, like, you guys are putting yourself. And the reason that I wanted to introduce you guys with your Christian name or your whatever born name is
Or
because
government name.
yeah, but government, how the way they're gonna track you is because people have to understand that Dee Dee and Vera and Cora, that is a persona. That's something else. Underneath all that is a true human being, right? True. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we kept that there was a balance and a sound baseline so that we can again bring reality to this. Guys, what else can you tell us about what you guys are doing? What's in the future plans? What do you guys want to take this to? I mean, do you want to keep it in Laredo only? Do you want to maybe help other future drag queens to come up? What are your plans? What are y'all looking at?
Well, we're looking to grow. No, like, we want to get more drag.
Oh, he's
drag
situated at the
performers.
mic.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Before
First, she
GD
didn't want
takes
to talk
over.
earlier. Now it's like, give me the mic.
They're not giving the right information, you guys. You're not asking the right person.
There you go. There you go.
No, well, I mean, so we've done like cherry pops, which is like for first timers.
That's where I started.
That's where she started, and
Cherry was popped.
with her other
Is that like a desk pop?
alumni.
cherry pop.
Yeah. That's-
Like the other guys.
a real
Desk
thing.
pop, remember the boy? Right, my bad. So I'll go back to sleep.
the other guys.
You're unhoused looking.
Unhoused,
From
unlived.
that, we also work with nonprofit organizations like Pillar. So
Okay,
they also
tell me
offer-
about how you help Pillar. Cause
Of course.
tell me, please, because I
How much time do we
work
have?
with them. So
No, don't worry about the time. We got time.
No,
Well,
dude.
I mean, many people don't know about them that they're a nonprofit organization. They
yes.
offer they stand against anti-bullying.
Yes.
So they've had their the boo rallies.
Okay.
Now it's kind of transformed into their Prideoween, where they celebrate Gay History Month, LGBTQ Month, with Halloween to make it a family-friendly event.
Nice.
So this past year that they had it at TAMIU, they had over 100 vendors organized by Anna
awesome.
and Eddie. That they're a big main front, if not the face of Pillar. So everything they do, offering not only mental health services, but now medical services, little to no charge, and they help you with insurance.
Yeah.
Like, how are people not running there? I myself have gone, like, when I did a little internship with them, I did condom distribution at downtown bars
Yeah.
to kind of get their name out there. But not only that, like, my face, since we are predominantly trying to, unfortunately, get places that would offer any space for us, but we are trying to look for places that are non-alcoholic or sober places for other people that don't drink or those that
Or
may
they
not
don't
want
go.
to.
They don't go to the downtown area, right? For whatever
Yeah.
reason.
because it's a lot different now.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, again, you said so. Manny and I went to school together. Right? I love Manny. Manny and I've known him. I have pictures of Manny and I like at second grade. I mean, I've known him forever. And I did my internship for my psychology master's at Pillar, and they gave me a chance to do the counseling and stuff. So I got to understand. Yeah, I'm talking about a couple of years ago. So it's been they've progressed a lot, and I'm really proud of Manny what he's done. I think who's the other guy? Is it Eddie? Joe? Who's
Arturo.
Is it Arturo? I'm really proud of them. And this would come from Manny, because Manny, I remember him as a really shy kid. He would get bullied a lot until they would piss him off, but because he was just quiet, he was a very smart kid. But look at him now. I mean, he's done a lot for the city, and that you guys are helping that out. That's awesome. It really is. What else do you guys have in the future? What else do y'all think? Where can this go? I mean, besides performance, and I think you have the right angle. It's easy to perform in just anywhere where they take you, but you want to take it to another level. You want to take it to where you perform in front of the right people that can actually help you, propel you to another level, and propel you to the level of a certain RuPaul that I know somebody got to meet. I saw the pictures. I'm like, you bastard. Because that's awesome. Tell me about that experience.
That was like
Look at
a
him.
dream
See,
come
now he wants to
true.
talk. Before it's like you talk. Tell us about that.
Pulling the mic in. No, it was such a incredible experience. As soon as I heard that he was going to Vegas, I looked at my calendar. I'm like, perfect. It's my spring break from work, right? So I bought my ticket. I didn't even think about it. I told my family, hey, I'm gonna go. If y'all wanna go, I'm already gonna be there. Let's go together. But it was a quick meet and greet, right? But just being able to
it doesn't matter. It's
my
RuPaul.
idol.
It's RuPaul.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's
matter.
RuPaul,
Yeah.
meeting my idol. We do our RuPaul's Drag Race viewing parties at El Mesón. So seeing him from the screen from so many years, from when I was in middle school to actually meeting him in person was a huge dream come true. The little gay boy inside of me was screaming and was super happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. We were talking about that before y'all got here.
Let me ask you this. So how did he treat you?
How did he treat me?
Yeah.
Like,
Is he any different from what he portrays?
No, as soon as he saw me, what scared me was just looking at him with a huge smile, if he he already knew I was there.
Yeah.
He acknowledged you.
Yeah,
And I only say that because you know what they say. You never want to meet your idols.
yeah.
I know I was heartbroken.
I know you
one
guys.
time.
I ruined it for you because you didn't want to meet your idol. Yeah, whatever. Cálmate.
Wait, we need to
They're now they're gonna start doing the finger.
No,
But
but I say this because in my situation, so I met one of my idols, and I was told I didn't even get to meet him. Can I say the name?
Yeah, go ahead.
David Carradine. All right, you remember him? You guys
they probably don't remember.
Kung Fu Theater, whatever.
No.
Kill Bill.
No.
Kill Bill.
Bill.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the actor, he's a big karate guy. He's one of my growing up when I was growing up, my childhood favorite actors, what have you. So we make a long line. This is in Vegas. This is we're there in business, and we stopped by, and we waited in line, and then the person, two other folks in front of us, wanted us an autograph, and he's like, well, that's $40 or something like that, and his agent comes in, and the person's like, you know what, I don't have, we traveled from so-and-so and don't have the money, and he's like, well, and he didn't get it. So I walked all the way to where he was sitting down at the table, like where you are, and he's like, well, okay, hey, what do you need, man? What do you like? Nothing. Yeah. Nothing, and I walked away from him. So that's why I asked, how did he treat you? If he's one of your guys, how did he treat you?
Treated us.
Now people are going to hate me
treated
because
with open arms.
I spoke bad about David Carradine.
No. It's not about speaking bad. It's about speaking the truth.
Yeah, but that's
The situation was bad that he created, not you. I'm sorry, you were saying.
Go ahead.
You were saying that as far as the way he treated you.
Oh yeah, no, he welcomed me with open arms and everything, and I kind of thought he was gonna be mamon, right? But no, it was the total opposite.
What's mamon? I'm sorry. What's
Mamon?
It's
Stuck up? Cocky? Oh, okay, got it.
Now you're describing me. Okay,
Okay,
but go
game
ahead.
on. Yeah.
I don't know you, but go ahead.
I thought he was just gonna be okay, pose for the picture. That's it. No, he hugged me. We kissed on the cheek, right? And I don't know. I told him, I was like, I love you so much. He's like, I love you too, baby. Yeah. We took our picture, and I told him,
I love you too. Now get the fuck out.
Yeah. It was the best.
No. Well, that's a good experience. That's awesome.
So let me ask you this, because I am a man of faith and what have you, and I'm nobody to judge anybody. Nobody has that power to judge anybody. And I only mention this. I mean, there's only one person that can do that, right? Capital G, capital O, capital D. But I only mentioned this because my question is, I mean, I got from the time you all started, it's, so many years, and you've encountered this and that, and it's evolved into what it is now, very, something positive, and you help out the community, you have all this. Is there still, and even though you wear, what do you call your apparel, or I don't want to say your costume, what do you call it when you wear
or drag.
your gear? When you put your, that's all law enforcement do, say when you put your gear on.
Well, that is our gear. That is our gear.
Does that make you feel
armor.
My body. My body.
Does that make you feel a little more secure when you're in front of the crowds? And the reason I ask that is, going back to what I didn't say, so after all this time you traveled all this, are there still places or people you don't want to perform in front of? Because you might feel that something's going to go sideways.
No.
Or you're going to be looked
You're
at
just being
or
you.
judged, or is there still,
For me, I feel there's times where I do feel like that.
And is it a particular group that you feel like that, or it's
I
just,
guess
or is it
it's
still
just
stage fright?
It's my mentality. Like I get anxiety, and it's not performing because I can go perform.
Yeah.
But it's just like the hangout afterwards.
Yeah.
Because we're like as soon as we finish performing at a venue, we like to go and have a few drinks, hang out. Right?
Yeah.
So there's this one bar, the club, right? I don't know, bar club, whatever. That I just okay, y'all are going. I'm gonna go home. I'm not gonna go there.
Well,
And I haven't had a bad experience there. It's just like
It's just
I
something
don't
about
want
it.
to have that bad experience.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
to escalate at that part.
Yeah.
So
And I ask that because it's not just in what you folks do, and it's just even like in wrestling. I know some of the wrestlers, like when they're up in the ring, it's super this and Mr. that and blah blah. They take off the mask and they're like they turn off. Like I don't want to hang out. Like it's just like I got it. It's a personality that you're doing up there, but I feel like sometimes they're like in their own skin. And then I've always wondered, is there still a crowd that you don't just, what, we're just not going to perform in front of?
No, not me. I mean, I'm not really.
No, you're the Payasonica. We understand that. I pity anybody that's going to tell you anything, bro. Because like I said, you'll turn into Killer Clown. like Killer Clown,
heels, baby, I'm like 6'3" in heels.
He's tall now. When he gets in heels, you're like, holy shit.
And I'm wearing like this
7-inch
tall heels, baby. Imagine if I wore my big girl heels.
Forget it.
I'd be like 7 feet. But no, I'm not really afraid to perform in any or like turn a crowd down. The elders that like guided me through, Margot Landreau and Jasmine Knight, they kind of gave me that confidence to not be afraid to be in a straight bar. I know that we wouldn't go to bars, baby, we'd go to cantinas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, señores are there,
Yeah.
So it's not somewhere, a typical place where a small lady like myself would be, but it wasn't something so intimidating to be at either, because you're just there minding your own business, you're having fun, and then all of a sudden everyone else is having fun with us. And that's actually what it was. Like we were just there, and then all of a sudden we were talking to some guys, some other guys too, and then everyone started having fun with us, and there was like, you know what I mean? Like there was no like, oh my God, there's vato, there was none of that. It was all like,
That's good to hear.
buy me drinks,
So,
yes, buy me another beer or something.
And then on the other side of the coin, the question is, so you out there, you're performing, you do your thing, Vera this, Vera that, and everybody's applauding. But then you come out and you take off all your gear or your attire, and then you're like, "Can I help you?" Like, do you feel bad because they don't recognize you without?
Some people, yeah, won't recognize me when I'm out of drag, but then they'll hear my voice.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, yeah, it's Vera," because for the most part, most of the time, I'm the one emceeing, so I'm there
okay, got it.
on the mic at our shows, so they'll recognize me out of it. Like I know, like this one time, I work for Pronto Insurance. And this one lady came in and this one lady came in on Jackman, everyone. I'm kidding. This one lady came in and she heard my
you have a
voice
bundle
and she's
rate
like,
right now?
"Wait, are you Vera?" And I
Are
was
you
like,
serious?
yeah, and I was like,
Vera qué?
again, no. I was like, yes. I was like, that's me. I'm Vera.
Oh, wow.
Mercedes.
That's pretty good.
And they're
pretty
like,
good.
oh my God, you work here? And I was like, yeah, I do.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
fine.
it's
They do
fun.
that.
It's fun to do that. It's fun when they do that. I really appreciate it, and it kind of like it makes me feel like a sense
Yeah,
of like I'm a
you're
little
doing
celebrity
something. Yes,
or something.
yeah, of course.
You know, and it's that part of people coming up to you after you finish performing and say, "Damn, you really moved me when you with your performance." I've had like a couple people that will come up to me in tears because they saw me and they saw my performance, and it just like it touched their hearts.
Yes.
With whatever I was doing, you know, and stuff like that is the reason why I'm like, I could perform anywhere. It doesn't matter what crowd I'm in. Like, I know I'm still an entertainer.
There's always going to be that one
Like,
person.
Yeah,
that's
but
gonna appreciate
there'll always be somebody. But
oh yeah,
if
You know-
you guys can handle that, then I'm
And you know what the vibe I'm getting from you, all three of you, is you are what you are, you do what you do, and that's what it is. You're not trying to shove anybody's down. You gotta accept that I'm doing this. Like, no, you're free reign. You do what you want to do, and that's cool.
And I think
And
that
I totally respect that.
that's-
It's
that's
just
the-
when they start shoving it down your throat, like
That's the
you
problem right
have-
there.
You have to
and
accept.
that's for anything.
You
I
have
don't care
to.
if it's
Yeah, no,
religion, I don't care
yeah,
what it is.
exactly.
Just don't show. You can have your own views. Just don't shove it down my throat.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I'm gonna shove down your throat my views. So, but again, respect. That's all it is. Just the operative word here is respect.
Respect.
Yep.
That's it. I don't care if it's here,
Mutual.
at home, wherever you are. It's respect. Once you have that respect, you're gonna be fine. Guys, again, thank you for your time. And I'm hoping that somebody heard something that they didn't know, either from you guys, from Pati, from us, anything, any one bit of information that y'all can come out of this with something different. That's all that matters. I applaud for what you guys do, guys. I will tell you this, as a Laredo, I'm proud that you guys are leading the charge on this, because there's generations coming up behind you, and you all need to teach them right. You all need to teach them the right way, how to protect themselves, how to be happy, how to be entertaining, because there's a need. We're all here for a reason.
And keep it healthy, like you guys are doing.
Yeah, just keep it healthy.
It's your own thing, and it is what it is. You know?
It's gonna be awesome.
No propaganda behind it or anything like that. It's just an art that you guys perform.
But I still so I'm gonna be calling and bothering you guys next to see what we can do again over there.
Go ahead.
But
Well, I was just gonna mention, like, we anytime anyone has anything questionable of what we're doing or when it is that we're doing it is that we do, we specify. We have family-friendly shows, which is a majority of what it is that we do. We thank Frontera so much. Shout out to Sandra Rocha Taylor for having us there and helping us guide through this like tough time when we don't have a home bar and we don't have a place where we can normally call home. But coming up on 5 years, I think Frontera is a very close place that you can find us
you
in.
know what? Let's
I keep hearing Frontera. Why
I know.
don't- Let's invite them.
The Pan American Courts.
I mean, I keep hearing Frontera. Why don't we invite them as a
We
guest
could.
so they can talk about
fabulous,
everything that they offer, what
Yeah.
they do.
We
Yeah.
definitely can,
So-
of course.
So here's the question. I mean, to get in contact with y'all or the organization, is there a page or a number, something that?
Uh-oh, here it is. He tapped him on the show. Let's see. Let's hear it.
I'll give him the number.
No, I don't even know the number. No, you could message us on Instagram at the Drag House, and house is spelled Haus. Not like the regular house because we're a little extra.
We're unique.
We're unique. So you could follow us there at the Drag House on Instagram, or you can find us as well on Facebook.
Okay.
You could reach us through there, send us a DM. If you don't catch us there, you can catch any of us in our personal Instagrams, and we'll rely all the information to one another.
Or
Awesome.
even in our guide pages, like
Okay.
anything.
And that's
anything.
That's what it was. I
Contact
mean, I
us.
just wanted to make sure that the public knows if in case, they want to go ahead and call you and get you out there, where can they get in contact with you?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Um,
Thank you.
Again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to come out here. I wish you a lot of success in the future, and I know you guys are gonna do great things, and hopefully we'll see you guys in in the big media, big shows, big
Oh, yeah.
something. You never know, man.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, you can never tell where this is
Be
gonna
the
go
next
take you.
RuPaul.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah. Right. Imagine a
Next
show in
normal
Vegas.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a show in Vegas, and And I mean, you just never know, guys. I mean, all we can do is try. That's all we can do is keep on trying, and again, trying to navigate through, like Prince said, this thing called life, right? We all have our challenges. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on the 2 hours, so actually we're a little more than the last time. So let me recap real quick. The first show we had, which was 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
We had under 400 views. This last week, we had almost 1.5. I'm hoping that this week, share it, guys. Share it, please. Share it, and let's put Laredo on the map. We're trying to do something positive here. Again, I don't expect for everybody that views it to agree. I don't want that. That's a boring life. If everybody agrees on the same thing, it's boring. Yeah. We gotta be different. But again, we also have to keep our feet on the ground and be respectful of each other. That's all I ask. Because if you want to talk about disrespect, I'm right there with the best of them. But no, it's not about that. It's about taking care of each other and supporting each other, especially when we're down. So again, don't come to me with the problems. Don't come to us with the problems. Come to us with the solution. We know what the problems are. The first show we talked a little bit about the water issue. We're always, TECQ is always, coming at us with, well, we found, too many sea monkeys in your water or whatever. But I don't care about, what administration was corrupt and kept the money instead. I don't care about that. Yeah, are we going to go after them criminally? No. What I care about is how we're going to fix it. That's what I care about. And I mentioned, I don't need another, what do you call it? Another street. I don't need another park. I don't need that. I need better pipes to give us the right safe water. Our days growing up in the 80s, 70s and 80s, I remember, if you were smart, you would wait until the water would stop being like 100 degrees, right? But sometimes we were so thirsty, you were like, still drinking it, right? But nobody got sick. Nobody ever got hurt. We were fine. Freaking playing with vipers.
I glow in the dark a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes when I fart, I pass out. But that's a different story. Is it wrong when there's blood in the urine?
I think we can talk.
We're going to talk about. Okay, we'll talk about that. But anyway, again, don't tell me. I know what the problem is, but I don't want to know about that. I want to know how we're going to fix it. How we're going to move that money around to improve the infrastructure for the water. That's all we're trying to do. Inspire, instill, motivate, create conversation, adult conversation. All right. You've heard me drop the F-bomb a couple of times. Bad words here and there. I'm not going to get vulgar either, but it's okay. The reason I do that is because we're adults and we need to speak like adults. It's okay. It's okay. We're just not gonna get, flat out vulgar. We're not gonna do that. No. And again, when we have negative comments, that's fine. We'll address them. But it's not about that, guys. This is not a shock jock show. We're not gonna try to, start throwing stuff at it. Well, maybe you and I will start throwing chairs around. But anything for ratings, right? But that's not what it's about. This is about, trying to find the answers, find solutions. We know what the problems are, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, Pati's still in the room. Thank you so much, Pati, for coming over. We really appreciate your story. And of course, you girls, this is. I remember the first time when we were there, and you all were still in your costumes, and Dee Dee's like, let me introduce you to the girls. And in my mind, I'm like, they're guys, but they're girls, but they're guys, but they're girls, right? So again, it's just that, we're not used to it. Now I can say girls. Now to me it's girls, but again, unless you're around the culture, unless you know people, it's just like the military. Not everybody can hang around with us. I don't know if you heard in the podcast, we got 3 combat vets here. Our sense of humor and our way of looking at things is different. We can see a dead body and laugh. We're not laughing at what happened. It's our way to cope. The same thing as cops. Sometimes I remember being out on the street. I don't know if you know, I did 30 years with Laredo PD. Sometimes you catch us laughing and, high-fiving, whatever. And when somebody's laying down dead, it's not that we're making fun or making that life any less. It's not that. It's a coping mechanism for us to not go crazy. And we still have the PTSD. We still have a lot of stuff, So, again, when people don't understand that, they're not in our culture, it's hard to understand. But it's so easy to criticize, right? We all criticize what we don't know. Other cultures, other choices of life, other industries. We criticize what we don't know. That's what we do. And all we ask for people to grow up, be mature, take the time, take that one extra second before you say something stupid to find out what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, then shut the fuck up. It's that simple. But guess what? People like to talk. They like to talk, and it's always, the great humanitarian Adolf Hitler, yeah, once said, it's always the ones that know the least that speak the most.
Yeah.
And it's true. When you have somebody, yeah, that means they don't know shit. It's the quiet ones you got to worry about. Those are the ones that are studying, they're learning, they're understanding.
You haven't stopped talking.
I know, right?
I know.
Well, because I'm the host, damn it.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was an
Thank
example.
you for bringing that up. You unhoused.
Yeah.
Again, okay, let me, no. I'm not making fun of that. I'm making fun of the term, how now you cannot say homeless. It's unhoused. Whatever.
And I'm
It's-
not
You're not
unhoused.
homeless. No, you're not homeless. You do.
I just have to make that clear. I'm not home. I'm not unhoused.
No, because then they start making all these contributions. And
A GoFundMe page and everything.
Can I just say something real quick?
Go.
Yeah.
So I just want to close out and saying, Laredo, this is your platform. Take advantage of it. I'm telling you, it's for free. You might think that...
For now.
For now. You might think that your organization is not big enough or doesn't matter enough. You'll be surprised. You will reach or touch somebody out there that needs your knowledge, your experience, your guidance. And more than anything, we're trying to get to know the city more. We all know where the mall is. We all know where the border is. We all know where everything. But let's get to know what's in between. That's what we want to learn. That's what we want to get to know. You didn't know that your neighbor did this, and now you do. That kind of stuff. Yeah. Let's just keep it healthy. Let's keep it, like TJ says, let's keep it mature. And this is an invitation also for our sister city also.
Yep.
No, Laredo. Si hay negocios o hay organizaciones que quieren subirse a la plataforma, explicarnos de qué se trata, no hay problema. Aquí podemos traducir por ustedes.
What?
Also, if if you think, nah, man, we're just a couple of guys, we have this little club or whatever, you have your thoughts, come to us. We'll help you get organized so you can do a presentable presentation, and when it's your turn to be a host. Don't shy away from that. Well, we want to hear your voice, Laredo. We want to hear what you're thinking. We want to hear, it's going to sound kind of 80. I want to hear the beat of Laredo.
What?
I want some Miami Vice music in the background when I say that.
Unhoused.
There you go.
Unhoused.
There you go. So, no, sir. So, Laredo, this is here for you. Take advantage of it. And there you go.
Awesome. So we're gonna start something today with you guys okay. So let me give credit where credit is due. Big River Talks. That title was developed by Bojo, so I really appreciate that. And there's a reason for it. Rio Grande, Big River.
Big River.
That's where that comes from. But today we're gonna start. Every guest we're gonna start you guys having sign either a board or something. So at the end that we want to collect all these signatures from you guys. So you guys are going to be the first ones to do it. You guys and
So now you're part of the history.
So now
You're cemented into the history.
Going where I don't know.
Big
but-
River Talks.
But anyway, so we're gonna do that, guys. Again, Laredo, thank you for listening. Really appreciate your time. This one's almost 2 hours, so I can't foresee this thing going, one day, a whole 3 hours. As long as we have great guests and speaking with important topics, I'm sure we're gonna continue, getting the followership that we hope we get. Guys,
And we have audience also. We can have
yeah, we're also gonna have a space for people to come in and sit down and be quiet and listen, but just be quiet. Like Pati over there is,
Following the
yeah,
sleep.
she was already telling me it's time to go, but she was using the middle finger. But anyway, guys, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Until next week, as the Big River Talks, we're out. Love that music.